Curling now enters the Sports Weekend spotlight.
Good evening. Hi, gang. Colleen.
Yes, hi. I was studying the line score. I mean, what a game between Gushue and Fournier, eh? Gushue always sort of had control, but sort of is the key word. And you look at the line score, it's kind of football player at the end. This big three. So critical there.
I mean, it was a back and forth battle. I think I counted 7 different lead changes between Canada and Quebec this afternoon. Gushue pulling away at the end with an 11-7 victory. It was a fun afternoon of curling, a game that got away from Saskatchewan. Matt Dunstone wants that one back. He wasn't a happy camper at the end of that one. Did you really put the lines?
I did, just to remember, because the games were really interesting today. And so when you look at Dunstone and all these zeros down the stretch and the stealing that Epping did, I mean, that's huge. And look at how tough cover boy Smith from Newfoundland Labrador played Cooey. Cooey pulls out a 7-6 win, and McMurphy wins too. But we're all about Gushue, aren't we?
We are about Gushue, and we are waiting for him to join the show. And I know everyone in Newfoundland and Labrador, and he has fans all across his country, Colleen. So everybody's excited about that. We got some good questions from Twitter. We'll try and get to those. A lot of ground to cover, but you were talking about it. I think there were a couple of threes that Brad had this afternoon, maybe one in the fourth.
Yeah, he did. The one in the fourth end was big and a huge shot, too.
Absolutely. So why don't we look at that? Because it's an interesting thing. Brad decided to play the split, Colleen. He could have drawn it in there for 2, but decided to play the split. Just before we show it, tell me about that. Sometimes you don't play those odds as a skipper.
Well, it looks juicy. I know. Sometimes a safe 2 is but if you know it's makeable and if you're feeling it, you always trust the skipper's gut instinct. So it looked juicy to him. And so he went for it. And you love seeing that from the defending champ.
Let's watch it.
The defending champion, Brad Gushue, out of the Ballyhaley and the Remax Center in St. John's, looking at the split. Already sits the 1.
3 feet through. To the hack. To the hack.
Jeff Walker. Brett Gallant, Mark Nichols calling line. Now got one on. Is that one going to go a little bit more? Walker, help it. Oh, he's got it.
Is that nice? So nice.
So nice, Brad. That was a big shot. Take us through it. That was a big part of the game. And I was surprised by you making that call. I would have thought you would have taken the 2. So I was interested in that.
Yeah, originally I went down to the hack to play the draw for 2, and Brett kind of mentioned is the split there, and Mark was kind of looking at it as well. I think when I was in the hack, and I hadn't even looked at it. I went down and I figured, you know what? As long as I throw back 12 weight, we're gonna get 2 regardless. Either we bump that one into the rings or our shooter kind of spins in, and fortunately we hit it in the right spot to get 3.
And you got that nice little twitch at the end for your shooter. I mean, that's good luck too. And that just
Yeah, it was fortunate to get that little spin. I think the key was we played the right weight for the shot, and no matter what happened, as soon as I let go, we were going to get our 2, and to get that little spin for 3 was a bonus.
I was a little nervous when they called out hack, actually, because then you really do have to.
Yeah, it was probably through the rings, but I made sure when I threw it that we were going to be making contact to the guard. So, if I had got it outside of the rock or outside the line I was trying to get it on, then it would have been a little bit scary. But I knew out of my hand we were going to be making contact with the guard. And again, with that weight, we were almost guaranteed to.
Brad, 100% last night. Wasn't 100% this afternoon. I know you know that. Tell me about where the team is at right now. It looked like you guys were invincible last night, so that would have felt good going into this, not knowing what to expect, but it was a bit of an adventure this afternoon.
Yeah, I think really it came down. We played more difficult shots today. I think with John last night, things were pretty open. We had to make some small little hit and rolls, but never really faced a situation where we had to play a must-make shot. Today, we had a bunch of those where we had to make some hit rolls or make some draws, and we made a bunch of them, but we also missed a few as well. And I think just the degree of difficulty is all it was. And the fact that we haven't practiced as much as we'd like, and you play tougher shots, you're going to see more misses. But we fought through it, and to get a win, we're pretty happy with it.
Yeah, and the horses were tough. Listen, we've been talking about the library feel in the rink, but what we've got to show you right now is just sort of a comparison to last year's Brier and this year's Brier. Take a listen.
Final stone. Right now, sending the one. Nichols. All on its own. Bang, bang. Look out. There it is. Boy, oh boy, does he ever make you pay. Took up broadcasting.
Still a good chance here for Brad to get this buried. They know this path really well.
Get across the nose, roll underneath those center guards. Stand with it, Walker does. Oh, and really lovely good. Underneath shot rock, top four.
It's just to have that ability to throw that weight. It's the makeable weight. The brushers are in on it.
That's a nice roll.
So what's it like to hear nothing after a great shot like that? Just
I noticed it a couple times today. Last night, I didn't notice it as much. I think we were just so focused on, or for me, not falling down and not doing anything stupid. But today I noticed it a few times when we made a good shot and how quiet it was. And that's something I really miss. Like when you've been to the Brier as many times as we have, that's what you look forward to, is those roars, the excitement from the fans. And certainly today, we felt, or I felt that I missed that. And I think it would have helped a little bit, because it did feel just a little more dull today than what it did yesterday. I think the first game, we're all excited to get out there. Today was a little bit more of a challenge, and hopefully we can overcome that in the next couple of games and find a good rhythm.
You were worried about that, Brad, in our conversations going in. I think you have even been talking to a sports psychologist. How do you make sure in Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday that you guys are, generating a level of momentum and energy?
Well, I think the biggest thing is just communication, talking to each other, making sure that if we see someone on the team not quite where they should be, that we communicate that, but really just trying to find that motivation from within and trying to make every shot as good as we possibly can. And I think once we get into that role, then, that routine comes pretty easy, but it's a lot easier said than done, because, for myself and Mark, who have been to so many of these Briers, those roars, and Colleen, you would know, they're so exciting, and it gets your adrenaline going. It makes you feel great. And I certainly miss that and can't wait to have that experience again.
the roars are great, but the oohs when you miss is.
I don't like those. I don't like those.
What are you girls doing back in their pink outfits? Are they together watching, or what's happening there?
Yeah, I guess they're, everything's in lockdown right now in Newfoundland, so they're probably watching together on Zoom or some other avenue. But I know my dad and my uncle, who are kind of staples at the Brier, they're watching, watching separate but together, over Zoom, and I know they had a picture there on our social media, which was pretty cool.
That's what Devin and I are doing, so it's easy. It's not so hard to do it like that.
The whole country is doing it. Like Zoom has just become second nature for everybody.
Yeah.
Brad, we tweeted out that you were going to be on the show. A lot of questions, of course, for you. But I think one of the more poignant ones, and you can see it on the bottom of the screen here, about when you were in the hospital after that fall in 2015. And you've been pretty vulnerable about speaking about what that was like for you, and the fact that you thought you may never curl again. So maybe just take us through what that moment was like for you, the perspective you got from it, and you've done a lot of winning since that time.
Yeah, a little, I guess, two separate incidents. When I did fall and went to the hospital and had the concussion and all that stuff, I wasn't too worried about not curling again, because I came out an hour later and went and played, which is probably the dumbest decision I ever made, because I had a bad concussion and can barely remember the whole situation. And, I went home and I was in bed for 10 days with the lights off, and it probably should have been longer, but, you try to be a tough athlete and go and muck through it, which in hindsight, it probably prolonged, the issues that I had, which almost went on for a year. and then I followed that up with the hip and groin issue where that was the concern because I didn't know how to correct it. And everybody I'd went to was saying something different and couldn't find out what was going on. And finally got to the right person. And part of that came from our premier, actually, who recommended a physiotherapist who's now a very close friend of ours, Lynn Martin, who was able to figure out what was going on. And I'm still working through it, but I feel much better now than what I did at any point over the last number of years.
Okay, like, are you on speed dial with the premier? Like,
no,
is this a provincial emergency?
No, he was an orthopedic surgeon before this, so I went to see him to see if he could figure out what was going on, and he said it looked more muscular, and recommended I go see Liv, and Liv was able to correct it, and a really nice friendship has kind of blossomed from that. So very thankful to him for connecting me with Liv and getting this thing figured out.
Nice. Let me get the boards. I'll go get my boards. You guys
you go get the board. Brad, question for you. Oh, you're ready?
This is a high-tech show here. Look at this.
Thank you. What do you think of your pool there? Like, when you're looking, look, I put you at the top.
I love the fact we're on top, and I love the fact that we're 2-0.
Yeah.
It's so early. I look at the other pool, and I seen this morning with, what you would call 2 upsets, I believe. With New Brunswick knocking off the McEwen, and then
Watcher losing.
Yeah, and that's probably less of an upset, but I think we're going to see a few more of those throughout the week, just because nobody's really in A shape. Like everybody's kind of mucking through and trying to make some shots, and we are going to see some more upsets as we go, I believe.
Listen, if 100% in game 1 isn't game shape, then you got to lessen your perfectionism. Bring it down a notch.
It was a soft 100. I had some easy shots that I didn't make perfectly, but I made them good enough. And yeah, it was. I was quite content with the results. I wasn't content how we got there.
There's no such thing as a soft 100%. 100's 100. You can't get better.
I'll take it. Okay, I'll take it. I'll be proud of it.
Brad, hey, we had Carrie on last night. You do know that you're staying in the same room, so There's got to be a lucky room. I don't know if you guys have had any exchanges about that, maybe.
Well, yeah, we were chatting, and she said, "What room are you in?" And I said, 324. I guess the whole world knows where I am now. But anyway, she said, "That's my room," or "That was my room." And I said, "Well, hopefully you left some mojo in here so I can, pull off what she pulled off last week."
Yeah, pretty cool. Pretty cool. Well, listen, we're so happy you're back on the show. Nice to have you. I know you got to rest, ice the hip.
Well, there has to be some of that. In an effort to kind of cram for this, Brier, we obviously tried to throw as many rocks as we could there on Thursday and Friday. And, it is feeling a little bit sore and tender. I was talking to John Morris. He said the same thing. You try and get as many rocks in, and then all of a sudden, some of these injuries can creep back. And really that's, I know Kathy mentioned it in the broadcast earlier today that, that's a potential for some of these sweepers where all of a sudden you go from 0 to 100, and you're in a big event and you're sweeping hard on every single rock, and you got to do it for 12, 13, 14 games. There's a big risk of injury.
Yeah, you bring up a really good point, given that this is such a huge big field and the threat of tiebreakers to get into championship pool, and then even possibly tiebreakers to get into the playoff. And we saw Laura Walker would have had to play 3 games on that day. Is there any thought going on about how to space that out and use the 5th wisely? Something we've never really done a good job of, except when it's a runaway score.
You know what? I think if your team had prepared going in and had the opportunity to kind of work with your 5th player quite often, I think you could do that. I think most of the teams here this week haven't had that opportunity. And I think if you can get up in a game, you can bring them in. I think you'd be taking a fairly big risk bringing a 5th in a game that matters where really you haven't prepared or haven't done that before.
Right.
You want to rest, but it's kind of like, in a pitcher in baseball, if you're playing the World Series, you're going to let him throw his arm off. And that's kind of how we feel here. This is a big event. And even though there's a high risk of injury, we're going to muck through it. But hopefully in some of those games, maybe you get a big enough lead where you can bring the fifth in, give a guy a break, and maybe even throughout the week, if we get a comfortable lead, we'll certainly make those switches, get Ryan in the lineup, and give Brett or Jeff a little bit of a rest.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice. Well, you're in the bubble for weeks. I think 7-8 weeks. So you got a lot of time there. You'll have some downtime. I know you're working on the Masters, so you're busy. You'll be good.
Yeah. Hopefully we're here for 8 weeks. If we don't win the Brier this week, we're gonna leave. We got a house rented here in Calgary, just to give ourselves a break, because when you're in here, you really can't even go for a walk or get outside. So that'll be a good mental kind of refresher if we don't win. Obviously, we want to win and stay in here, and I'll be in this room for the next 8 weeks. But if we're not, it's still going to be a long time away from the girls and my wife and all of our teammates' families. It's going to be a challenge, but we're pretty thankful that we have this opportunity when there's still a big part of the country that's in some form of lockdown.
Right. Yeah. All right, Brad. Good luck. Yeah. Good.
Thank you, guys. Thanks for doing the show. I think people really appreciate it, and you guys are doing a great job.
Oh, you're so nice.
Thank you for that.
Thank you.
Take care. Good to see you.
100% curler. We're giving it 100%, aren't we, Devin?
Bye, Brad.
We're a solid 75.
A soft 100.
And the graphics.
Awesome. Thanks, Brad. Colleen, listen, a lot of people have been wondering and asking both you and I on Twitter about the ice conditions, about the rocks. A lot of chatter. And so we thought we would go to the heart of the matter, the Iceman himself. I had a chat with him a couple of years ago in Brandon. They took me behind the scenes. This is something they don't do very often. They did it. Let's take a look at Greg Awasco sanding the rocks, and then we'll chat with him. Take a look.
We'll do this, judging by that, you can take 50 turns on 80 grit sandpaper to get rid of 1.5 millimeters. So we'll just keep going until we get 25 turns, and then we'll switch paper and grind them back down.
Do you know how many turns it takes to get rid of how many millimeters?
No, because we got to measure each time that we decide that, okay, let's test it.
How long could this take you?
This could take 2 days or 3 days. It takes a while. Yeah. So not only putting water on the ice, we're back here working on curling rocks and making them good.
It's a 24/7 job. Greg, are you trying to get the ice done? Are you sweeping as you walk?
No, actually, we're just trying to get everybody in order here. We're just coming up to the last draw of the day, and we decided to start running some rocks quickly here, just
nice.
Even out the sheets.
Well, we won't keep you too long. What's the difference between the Brier ice now and the Scotties? What did you learn? What did you change for this week?
Well, we didn't really change too much. We just did a little tweaking on our water system to make sure that the water was a little bit more pure. We obviously did do the rocks. We did the rocks a little bit differently just because we needed some more speed out of them. They were a little slow for the ladies. And then that didn't work. So now we're going to try to, I don't know what we're going to do today. We're going to try to make it work anyways.
Greg, where are you right now? Can you show us where you are, where you are on the ice, what's happening here?
Let's see if we can switch this thing around. Nope, that's not it. Anyways, I'll just switch it around like this.
There we go.
Nice. You're right there. I've never heard a person, an ice maker, describe that you could make the rocks, did you say heavier, or what did you say? What was the wording?
Faster.
How do you do that?
Well, there's edges on curling rocks. So these are our newest set, and we've been trying to get the edges off so they all run equally and same speed. And every single time that we try to tweak it to make it better, we take one step backwards. So even though that some people think that they're really good, I'm always looking for better.
Oh, I bet you are. Listen,
that's my
right here. Ugh. Okay, when you say the edges, do you mean the underneath where we saw you standing them?
That's right. So if you flip it upside down, so put the handle, so there you go.
Okay.
So just the running surface that the rock rides on, you can see it
right
there.
Here. Yeah.
So there's two edges, an inner edge and an outer edge. So if someone is throwing rocks at their curling club and they flip it over and they see snow, like a distinct snow line around the edges, that means that you have very sharp edges, which means the rocks are not really going to slide down the ice very nicely and freely. So that's what we're trying to get rid of.
All right. This rock's about 200 years old, so there's no edge left.
Greg, real quickly, you guys have been working around the clock. Look at this, ready to go. Can you tell us real quick what the turnaround was like? How much of the crew is there? You tweeted out a photo. You guys are putting in a lot of hours. Can you just tell us how this operation all works?
Yeah, so there used to be, at the beginning, there was 8 of us. Now there's only 7 of us that are taking care of the ice. So we roughly have, so the end of the Brier, we'll have roughly 36 hours to take the ice out and put it back in for the mixed doubles. And then we actually get lucky enough, we have 5 days in between the mixed doubles and the World Men's, sorry.
You got to think.
I'm losing track of how many events we have here.
Something else on the calendar.
Yeah.
Well, go ahead.
Last quick question, because people wanted to know what happened to the Tim Hortons cups. Everybody was saying what happened to them, and I hear maybe some of the players would lose rocks in the cups. What happened to the cups?
Well, I think it's just with COVID and everything. I'm guessing that's what Timmy's is going for, is the home delivery thing. So, yeah, I miss the cups too, because it was always fun to watch the guys trip over them.
Well, listen, we know you've got a draw to get organized for, but we sure appreciate, first off, the job you've done there, and we thank you for taking the time to speak with us. It's been really
absolutely
nice.
not a problem.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Thanks, Greg.
Yeah, take care.
Take care.
Bye.
Huge effort, Call.
I found that fascinating. Like, I didn't know that all this time I've curled. I didn't know that about that.
I didn't know you had a rock that you were going to show us.
I brought that. No, you don't even know. Yeah. I actually flew back from Scotland with that rock in my luggage. I think my carry-on, and I tried to act like it was normal weight back before they were weighing all that stuff. Remember when you used to fly places? Oh,
Yeah, the good old days. It's been a year. I mean, March 8th will be a year from last year's Brier final when we were all packed into the center down there watching Gushue win. Okay, we're going in the house now, the fan segment of the show.
yes.
And I think we have another Colleen joining us tonight.
We do. Colleen and Maria. Hi, you guys.
Guys, how are you?
Cheers, Colleen.
Yeah. She's got her full, hopefully not coffee at this time of night. Hi, Maria.
No.
How are you?
Hi, good. How are you?
Listen, I just want to point out, Devin, behind Maria, how old were you when you did that project on Brad Gushue and me?
I was 10, so I was in grade 5.
Yeah. Isn't that? I love that it's there. Bring it to me. I'll put it here on the set. Yeah, to say. I'm kidding. How's your season going, Maria?
With what going?
How's your season going? The chopped up season we've got.
Yeah, it's pretty much over now, so nothing really going on anymore.
Yeah, that's hard. Yeah. We've got some nice photos here. Tell us about this one, Colleen.
So this was last year at the U18s with Maria is the second to the left there. And her sister Kate is skipping that one. And this year they were playing U18s again together. Here they are as Team Ferguson. That's Lauren there skipping that one. And unfortunately, of course, with everything that happened this year, U18s didn't happen. So Kate, her older sister, ages out, and that was kind of Maria's last chance to play with her in U18s.
Yeah, and look at this here with Mr. Gushue in shorts and the whole team.
Yeah.
Where's that shot at, Maria?
That was in Newfoundland at the 2019 curling camp that I went to.
Oh, so nice. You went to their camp?
Yeah.
What did you learn?
I learned a lot. Mark Nichols was my coach, so it was pretty cool.
Did you learn to throw it as hard as he can, like a 4.5 second peel?
Not quite.
But I don't know if Mark is going to remember this, but they won the chant, and it was awesome.
There was a chant?
Yes, they each group, right, Maria?
Yeah.
They had different colors, and they all had to create a chant, and Maria and Mark's team won. So yeah, exciting.
All right.
Colleen, you did not mention, by the way. Oh, here you with some of the. This was probably at the Nationals with your.
Yeah, that was. I think that was Canada Games actually in Red Deer a couple years ago.
Yeah, you curling parents, by the way, I think we should put a shout out to curling parents, the effort you guys do. And I know I see your husband, who you didn't mention was in that U18 photo, late at night at the Mayflower Curling.
Oh my gosh, I'm going to get in big trouble. So Jeff, he was their coach, and he's an awesome coach and dad.
And a great husband. But you guys put in so much time.
Well, and Colleen and Devin, he's a cutout at the in Calgary right now as well.
Awesome. Oh, really? Yeah. We'll look for him.
Guys, what is it about this game that you love? I can see how much it means to the family, but what is it that means so much to you?
Well, I think for me, I've curled as a junior where Colleen and her siblings did at the Mayflower Curling Club many years ago, and it's just the camaraderie that we have with the curlers and the parents, and this whole past year has been so difficult. I was just saying to Maria, normally from September to the end of April, we would be weekend after weekend after weekend at some spiel somewhere. And not only is it amazing to watch your kids curl and have success in this, but it's the friendships that they've created, the friendships we've created as parents, and we've really missed that this year, I have to say.
Yeah. And so many people talk about the problem for juniors this year of no nationals and how hard that is for these developing kids to get going. And what can we do? It's just
it is really hard, and especially for those who hit those age limits. So or whether you're a U18 or U21, and this was this past year was your last year, and unfortunately, but I know with COVID, so many different things were affected with it. So it's, we take it as we go, and we just hope that
I want to know what you wrote about Colleen on the school project. She'd never asked that, but we got to get going. But I want to know.
I remember, Maria, did you not come all the way into the CBC?
Yeah, I did.
Yeah. I remember that.
Well, I'm going to see if I can. I'm not a very good editor here, but
this is about your book. I wrote a thing about your book.
Okay, right on.
And then this was just a little question and answer, because that's what I did with you at CBC. So
yeah, but then you were really in love with Brad. Where's the Brad?
Yeah. So then there's Brad there.
Yeah. Well, there you go.
Yeah, and we've met Brad a few times over the years too, haven't we, Maria?
Pretty well. You know what? That's the nature of the curling family, isn't it?
Exactly.
You come to my workplace. I see you at the rink. See you at Hubbard's.
Yeah.
This year, you're coming to Hubbard's and the Shore Club. Please be open. Please let the lobsters be back. Okay.
I think Devin should come to Hubbard's, Nova Scotia, and go to the Shore Club some night.
I'm in.
Exactly.
He's in. And I have been planning our Nova Scotia getaway, so I'll be there. I will be there.
Awesome. Listen, nice to see you virtually, and we'll see you back at the club.
Well, thank you so much for having
us. Good to see you.
And by the way, we love your show, so we're so happy that you guys are keeping this going.
Yeah, and great Nova Scotia tartan, by the way. I love that. You didn't even mention your scarf, Devin.
Yeah, well,
I did notice it. Great to see you too. Thanks, guys.
Yeah.
Thanks so much.
I'll tell you, curling parents had we've watched it with all of the elite players, and the parents still with their 30 and 40-year-old kids, whether it's Fred Cooey or Brad Gushue's mom and dad and the Gushue girls, they bring so much energy, love, devotion, and most importantly, support to the curlers. And we're seeing that with Colleen doing it with Maria and her other daughter, Kate.
We have a very distinct Nova Scotia finish to this show, Colleen. How did that happen, Colleen? Tee up who we have joining us because...
Well, listen, Team Nova Scotia, we're calling them McMurphy this year because Jamie Murphy, the skip of the team, opted not to go because there is, there was the soft quarantine and the time at the Brier and then 2 weeks after to quarantine. And as a young dad to 3 kids, that was a lot to ask of the family. So that's why Scott McDonald's here. But Paul Flemming, I was saying to him the other day, what did you bring? And of course, it did not surprise me that Paul Flemming brought his putter in. I hope you remembered a broom, Paul Flemming.
Where is he?
Hey, Paul, you practicing your putting?
Check this out.
Let's see it. I'm looking. I see your thumb.
Oh, there's my.
Oh, there it is. Okay.
That's my stinky knee brace.
Okay.
Can you see the?
I see the putter. I see the top of the putter. Camera work is not your forte, but golf.
The problem with it is the screen is flipped, right?
Can you see it now?
We saw the putter.
All
We
right.
see your knee.
There's the guitar.
Oh, I knew, and I said to Devin, he'll have the guitar there.
Yeah.
He'll have his guitar.
Zachary rented it for the week, and I curled him today, so I get it for the rest of the day.
Oh, that's nice. Does he play too?
Oh yeah, he's good.
Listen,
good.
how are you making out there putting in the putting? Your hand, it's like Paul, who never operates a camera or phone. He's worse than me, isn't he, Devin?
I mean, I'm just here enjoying being with both of you. This is outstanding.
Now we see his.
Oh, sorry. Is that any better?
That's
you're getting better.
That is good.
We can almost see golf balls a couple of
well,
times.
The green is pretty fast here. It kind of breaks pretty hard to the wall.
Yeah.
And here in solitary confinement, I logged a few hours putting. That's for sure.
No kidding. Okay, sit down, Paul, for a while, and let's see your face. Congratulations on your 1-1. This is good. How's the old skipper? We're going to talk to him in a minute, but how's he fitting in there for?
He's doing well. We got our first win under our belt there today, so that that felt good. But it's we're kind of trending in the right direction. We got off to a bit of a sluggish start yesterday against Heroux, but we're figuring each other out, and the releases we're getting used to that, and there's so many good teams here. We're just trying to make sure that we get a lot out of every shot. You can't have any zeros. You gotta get something out of every shot, and so we're trying that, and also just getting used to each other, and it's coming together. We're kind of trending right now.
You're trending. Awesome.
Paul,
You mentioned solitary confinement, and you're such a social person. You got the guitar. You'd be organizing golf in Calgary outside if it was. So how is this for you all by your lonesome in your room?
Kind of sucks, but you know what? We all have the clearance now that we can at least go into the restaurant and have a bite to eat, and it's getting better. The restrictions are getting lifted a little, but the first couple of days was tough. I'm not gonna lie, it was tough, and I'm glad I brought my putter.
because Paul, I think this is what, Brier number 10 for you. Is that right?
9.
Yeah. So you know what a Brier is like. So that would be even a little more jarring, wouldn't it be?
Yeah, absolutely. It's a different Brier for sure. I mean, but we're still here, and we're still grateful that we're here, and there's no fans, and it's different. It's really different, but we're still glad we're here, and what else can I say? Just make the best of it.
Yeah, I know when I talked to you at the Halifax Curling Club, you were just like, it's the Brier.
Yeah.
So pretty pumped.
Yeah, and where else would you rather be? What else can you really do these days, right? So no, we're fortunate, and we were one of the provinces that weren't able to play, and in the play down, but fortunately for us, we were selected, and grateful for it, and just make the most of it.
Yeah. Well, that's pretty awesome. Tell me, are you hearing from Jamie? Any advice from the skipper?
We have been talking to him. Matter of fact, I think he's going to be on tomorrow with Brian, because I think our game is televised tomorrow.
Okay.
So he's gonna chime in, and Brian's got a few questions for him. So
awesome.
Yeah, but we've talked to him a couple times, and he's been there when we need him. So we miss him. But again, we completely respect his decision.
Tell me about the field. Like, when you look at it, is it just daunting?
It's just tough, man. It's tough. You have 18 teams and 14 of them. I mean, inevitably there's going to be some really good teams that don't make that championship round. That's just the way it's going to be. But with 18 teams, that's going to happen. So that's our goal, just to try to get to that next round, and it's going to take 5 wins. So we have to knock off either Epping or Dunstone.
Mhm.
You know, we gotta knock one of those guys off. 4 and 4.
Colleen's going to get.
I've got your schedule if you need to be reminded, but look already like up near the top of the leaderboard. So it is such a daunting field that you've got on both pools.
Yeah.
Neither pool.
Okay, I got to ask you guys, let's have some real talk now, because Paul and Colleen, you two were on a team in 1999 that won a mixed championship. So let's talk about that for a moment. Paul, tell me Colleen's best traits on the ice.
Oh, that's tricky. Paul, we see your finger again.
Oh, sorry, guys. She well, everybody knows she likes to throw that out turn, so I was well aware of that going into it, and that was my favorite turn at the time too. So we were on the same page. We started off a little slow, if I recall, but we clicked towards midweek, and then we just got on a roll, and she was awesome. I think she threw like, I don't know, at least 80% out turns, which is fine by me, because again, that's my favorite turn too. So yeah, once we got rolling, we were hard to stop. You know, it doesn't seem like that long ago, but it was a while ago.
I guess it was a long time ago. That was a good year for me. Won the Canadian mixed, won the Scotties. You know, my favorite thing about Paul is he is a kid. He just loves wide-eyed excitement about playing. Every time he steps on, he's ready. He's like, even if he's tired, even if he's up too late playing the guitar, he's like, here we go. Like, he's able to just be, he lives in the moment. And that's pretty awesome. And he's such a nice guy.
Well, you know, and thanks. Until my body tells me I can't do it, you know, I still feel pretty good out there. And the guys keep telling me that the age is just a number, and just go out there, and you know, if Howard can do it, why the hell can't you do it? And if my peels are going just as hard as Zachary's, then I'm not ready to quit yet.
No, not yet. Not yet. Anyhow, we were hoping to have Scott on, but he's probably, I don't know, in physio or something.
Yeah, it's quite possible.
Yeah.
We hardly ever see each other.
You're a room apart and you have no idea what each other are doing.
I think they're eating, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
I'm not sure.
No worries.
But anyways.
Another day.
Awesome.
Yeah. Anyway, hey, you guys are doing a great job. And it was nice to see you bench press that 40 pounds, that rock. You made that look pretty easy. There you go.
Oh, man. Yeah. Girl.
That a girl.
Good to see you, Paul. Your camera work was
outstanding.
Wow. It's a work in progress.
It's a work in progress.
This is all new to me.
Yeah. Yeah.
Anyway, you guys are doing a good job. Keep up the good work.
Thank you, Paul. Good to see you.
Guys.
Yeah,
good luck.
When Paul's gone. When you're down,
we brought it back on.
To your fish and chip place, Paul.
Sorry, what?
When Devin comes to Nova Scotia, we'll bring him to your fish and chip place there in Muscadabat Harbor.
Please do. Fingers crossed that we're allowed to do that.
I'm in.
You know, I'm just being optimistic. It's all gonna be great. Yeah. The sun will come up tomorrow.
Yeah.
Play that one on your guitar.
Yeah.
Okay, let's get Paul.
Okay, you want Paul to go through this?
Sure, Paul. Give us your picks. He's finally settled. Paul's there. I can't see a thing on your boards. Okay, Paul. Wildcard 1, McEwen versus Northern Ontario Jacobs.
I like Jacobs.
You like Jacobs? Funny, Jacobs has won their last 5 meetings.
Wow.
Otherwise, 21 and 21 lifetime. That's a lot of time of playing.
Wow. Yeah, I like Jacobs there.
Yeah. Okay, Yukon versus Manitoba. Gunner. Manitoba. Northwest Territories versus Alberta.
Alberta.
Okay, this is like an eye test where it's easy so far. Grattan versus British Columbia.
Ooh.
Yeah. New Brunswick versus British Columbia. Laycock.
Come on.
I'm sticking with the East Coast on that one.
Thank you. Okay.
Thank you.
That's a safe one too.
Yeah, they had a really good game this morning. Those guys, they could make some noise. I wouldn't be one bit surprised if you see them move on to the championship round.
Yeah. Grattan's tough.
Yeah.
Or unless you're referring to Laycock.
No.
All right. Nice to see you, Paul.
You guys too.
Bye,
Thank you.
Paul.
Okay, and before we go, of course, you know, you did see my thing, so this is our time. Because what was our question to the fans? Who are the picks? But who's going to win the Brier? Okay.
Who's going to win the Brier? Spin the wheel. Colleen has another prop.
I have a prop. What's a show without a prop? I feel like stopping it at a convenient time. Whoa, Alberta.
I mean, after this morning, you saw how disappointed Botcher was. He knew that one got away, didn't he, Col?
Yeah, it did get away. But you know what? That's just the nature of this week. And there's going to be ups and downs. So, you know, Epping, for example, started slow and then he stole that win today. So it is one of those hang on to your hats and kind of ride the waves. Obviously, you hate it when one game gets away and is a loss, but it happens to everybody here.
Right. Although that being said, I found it interesting. Was it Glenn last night who said 3's probably the cutoff, 3 losses? And so when you get your first game is a loss, the margin of error gets a little slimmer, right?
Yeah. But you do. This is where the mental toughness comes in. You've got to park it, right? So anyhow, should be another fun night.
You bet.
Going to go watch some curling. And we got another big day tomorrow.
Yeah, we're going to be here. You're outstanding, Colleen. I mean, the rocks, the spin the wheel, the boards. I mean, you are taking this to a different level every night.
Well, that's all I got. Okay, there's nothing else.
I don't believe you for a second.
I've got nothing else. So
awesome.
But the sweater.
The sweater? Yeah, look good, curl good. That's what we say.
Right on. We'll see you tomorrow.
See you on Twitter. I'll see you tomorrow for sure. We'll see you all tomorrow.
Yeah, right on. Thanks, everyone. Send your questions. Stay in touch. Thanks, producer.